I really don't like food delivery apps. I'm coming out swinging on this episode. I think food delivery apps make nobody happy. And when I say nobody, this is what I mean. You got customers, they're not happy because they're paying way more for the convenience than they probably think they are. Restaurants, they're really not happy because they're handing over upwards of a third of their revenue. If they don't do it, they're invisible. Delivery people, they're not happy because they're doing dangerous work for not much money or benefits. They're not really even employees. And until fairly recently, shareholders weren't even getting a good return. So what the is going on here? Why is food delivery growing so much? Sorry for swearing. This episode of How We Got Here is about UberEats and how we ended up with this really strange and expensive pocket of the economy. And for the chat, and to make it sound good and make sure the video is in focus, I'm joined as always by my excellent producer, Rob. Rob, g'day.
Good to be back.
Rob, no judgment. Do you order Uber Eats very much?
I used to do it a lot more, and I think that coincided with me drinking more, partying more, being hungover more, and just being a little bit lazier. But I've definitely spent a few dollars on Uber Eats.
Few bucks. I think that's certainly the hungover thing will resonate, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is get up when you're not feeling so good.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to declare a bit of an amnesty for this episode that we will not judge anyone for their delivery habits. I'm going to share some stories of myself and also some friends.
Yeah.
And I'd like to encourage you to share your stories of how lazy you've been and the guiltiest time you've ordered delivery.
Me personally, or in the comments?
Anyone.
Oh, anyone.
Yourself, people in the comments. Yeah. I want to hear them.
An amnesty. I like
this
that.
Is an amnesty,
I think that's a good way to do this because there is a bit of guilt goes along with this because we're talking about convenience that no one else can see and you can just do it.
Yep.
Yeah, but no guilt. This is guilt-free. We're talking about how we got here.
Correct.
And we're all in this now.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be chatting with you. Because this to me is one of those topics that I talk about heaps actually. Wrote about it in the book. I talk about it all the time. Because when you zoom out, what we're really talking about today, more or less, is the greatest business strategy there is. You introduce a great product that people like, it's cheap, it fills a gap in the market, it's user-friendly and it's well marketed. Then you get market share, losing heaps of money if need be. Then you unload the fees by the truckload and set about achieving the profitability that you once wanted by making the product worse and more expensive. People call it shitification or in-shitification, but really, this is what dominant businesses have pretty much always done. What makes Uber Eats so impressive and frustrating is that it's managed to do this so well that it now charges lots of money for something that we just don't need in a pretty rough economy where people's budgets are stretched. It is objectively, with a few exceptions, important to say, unnecessary money to spend. And part of the genius is the way the app works. Lots of consumer psychology going on in there, which we'll get into. And it's changing fast. This is a world that's testing the boundaries of worker rights, of market power, and of ethics when it comes to things like whether it's okay to offer buy now, pay later for a pad thai that you had 6 weeks ago. All of that is now. But before we get into the now, you need a backstory. And before we get into the backstory, we need to do our favorite segment, Rob, which is Two Truths and a Lie.
Drum roll. To it. Drum roll, please.
I always look forward to Two Truths and a Lie now.
It's good fun. It's good fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Maybe it speaks to us and how much fun we have outside of this sort of thing, but I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm cool.
I'm cool. We're going to get right into that after a quick message from our partners here on How We Got Here. The old finance playbook, secure job, property, super, and wait, is a solid foundation, but these days it's only part of the story. The team behind IG Markets has 50 years in the industry. They know how it works and they've built something to round it out. IG Markets is the modern complement. Shares, ETFs, and crypto all in one easy-to-use app. No jumping between platforms, no juggling logins, just more ways to put your money to work starting with whatever you have right now. IG Markets believes every Australian deserves more ways to grow what they've built, and they're here to help you do exactly that. Search IG Markets or download the app IG Markets. This is new money. Crypto is unregulated and high risk. Share trading services by IG Australia Pty Ltd, AFSL 515106. Crypto services by IG Digital Assets Australia Pty Ltd. When was the last time you looked at your home loan? Well, most of us check it about as often as we flip the mattress, and your lender's quietly loving that. If it's been a while, Mortgage Choice could help you find a better deal. Firstly, Mortgage Choice gives you more choice, comparing loan options from over 35 lenders. And with more than 1,000 local brokers Australia-wide, expert help is never far away. To get more from your home loan, choose Mortgage Choice. Talk to your local Mortgage Choice broker today. Okay, let's do two truths and a lie. Now, the way this works for any newcomers is that I say three facts. Well, two of them are true, one of them is a lie, and you try to guess which one you think is the lie now, and then you see if your mind changes throughout this story, and we'll obviously come back to it at the end and we'll confirm or deny which one is the fact. Fact one, or lie one. Australia got UberEats before England did.
Okay.
Rob.
Interesting. Interesting.
I'll let that percolate while we get on to number two. Number two is starting in August this year, which is 2026, Australia will have the world's first legal minimum wage specifically for gig delivery workers, and riders will earn at least $31.30 an hour.
It's a good gig.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
Hourly rate, not too bad. Okay, so that's fact or lie number two. Number three, if you order your food through Uber Eats, it can be as much as 30% more expensive than if you order it through the restaurant and go pick it up yourself.
Yeah.
Rob, thoughts?
I mean, one, and I don't know when England got Uber Eats. There's obviously a plethora of delivery apps around there, so maybe there was another dominant one at the time and Uber Eats didn't go there. I mean, number two sounds a bit too good to be true, to be honest.
Yeah.
And knowing the way that these stories go and the markets work, we're not going to pay people a good wage, so I'm going to say that's the lie.
Okay, you're saying that one. I like it. I like the way you, like we're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you work through it. I like that. I think that's a good sort of system. You don't just sort of go, I reckon it's this, and then move on.
Yeah. I've never been on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Maybe there's not still time.
Well, if they reboot it, I'll come back. If they reboot it, I'm sure that it'll be back at some point.
Yeah, well, there's surely some back alley Who Wants to Be a Millionaire available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Something
I'll get in there. I'll get in there.
Okay, great. Registered then. Number two. You're going with number two. Say in the comments, actually, which one that you reckon it was at the beginning and see if you were right at the end. We will come back to it because what we need to do now is go back. We need to know where this whole thing came from. Because before there was Uber Eats, there was just Uber. Most people know that. Has to be one of those classic Silicon Valley origin stories. One of the best, really. It was in Paris where it started, really, if you're talking about the seed of the idea, in 2008. And two engineers named Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp, they're at a tech conference and they just can't hail a cab. It's middle of the night in Paris. It's cold. They can't get a taxi and they're getting frustrated. And they start kicking around this idea of a high-end car service for professionals based from an app. And then after a while, they end up landing on something simpler, which is an app that just finds you a ride in normal people's cars. Uber launches in 2009, and for its first 5 years, it has nothing whatsoever to do with food. Rob, do you remember when Uber first turned up? It didn't make it to Australia until 2012, but it was a big moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, I have memories of like discussions with people being like, isn't it weird that you're going to get in a stranger's car? And I'm like, well, like, I don't know the taxi driver, you know, but I guess when there is the branding and they had a uniform and stuff, there seemed to be a little bit of professionalism about it. But then people were like, hey, they give you mints and you get bottles of water and you're like, oh, isn't this fancy?
It was. It felt high end, didn't it?
Yeah, but I actually don't think the first Uber I actually ever used was overseas.
Oh, okay.
In like probably 2014. So I didn't use it for a few years because I was like, oh, taxis are fine.
I remember I really loved it when it first landed because I mean, for the most part, I kind of hated taxis.
Yeah.
And I thought it solved the problems of trackability and payment, ratings, no trip too small, all these things.
Amnesty time.
Yeah.
Uber rating. 4.68 is mine.
Okay.
Now I like to believe that I'm a model passenger, but I know from experiences that I've taken Ubers where I've paid for them and in the car I've brought 2 or 3 delinquent friends who may not have been drinking or causing a ruckus in the Uber. So I believe that is why my Uber rating is 4.68. Because I don't really say much. I usually get in and go, "G'day, how you going?" And then I sit there quietly and then I get out.
So you reckon you've been hit hard by a couple of 1-star reviews that weren't your fault?
Yeah, and I won't name that friend, but I reckon who it was.
No, it wasn't me. It was me by association.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
It was the company that I keep.
I believe you, Rob.
Amnesty? What do you
I
got?
believe you.
Okay. You believe me? Sure.
Thousands wouldn't.
Sure.
But I believe
Listeners
you.
don't. They don't believe me. All right, come on.
Okay, mine is 4.82.
Oh, look at you, the model professional.
Goody two shoes. And my profile picture is something from definitely 2012.
Yeah. See, mine is me in LA because I think that was when I downloaded the app for the first time because I was there in 2014. And a guy I was with, an American guy, was like, "Hey, we should get an Uber." And I was like, "I've never done that before." And then we downloaded the app and the photo was me like just standing in Hollywood somewhere.
Yeah, you just took a selfie then and there.
Yeah, I was like, "Cool, great, let's do it."
Yeah, and it's still there.
And it's still there.
What's really important to us when we're talking about the Uber original is that while it was busy being a taxi app, it was also building what a food delivery business would want: GPS tracking, driver dispatch, cashless payment systems. None of that was really built with food in mind, which is kind of not bad considering that food delivery now makes up about 1/3 of Uber's total revenue. Company didn't even think about it until it had basically all of those systems in place. It took someone to see it sitting there waiting for that other use, and that guy's name was Jason Droege. He was hired in 2014 to lead new ventures, basically. It started as Uber Fresh, this idea that he had. And at first, it was just a tiny, tiny test project. Just one neighborhood, Santa Monica. And it was lunch-only hours, this Uber Fresh thing. Only for a few restaurants, and you didn't even get a full menu. It was just a short list of set meals, and it was listed as like a ride option inside the normal Uber app. So I can't stress this enough. When it first was being tested, they put no time, energy or building really into this thing. It was just, hey, if you want to have a crack, have a little crack. We'll let you. But of course, it went really well. It went well enough for them to extend the full launch across LA for 2 weeks. And people started talking. There's enough buzz all of a sudden for Uber to actually develop this thing into a standalone part of their business, which they did. And in 2015, it was renamed Uber Eats, and it became a standalone app that went next to Uber. The first place it is fully launched is Toronto. Then it goes to LA. Then in 2016, Melbourne.
Hey!
Early.
Hey.
Really early, Rob.
There you go.
Melbourne. This is where we're, of course, sitting right now.
Yeah.
You never get to Melbourne shout out in these things.
No. Maybe they saw all of my rides where I was taking the Uber through drive-through and they're like, why don't we just get the delivery so this guy doesn't have to do drive-through all the time?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I remember having discussions with people on a night out and I'd be ordering an Uber and I'm like, "Oh, gee, I could go for this." I'm like, wouldn't it be good if I could call the restaurant, order it, and then or like get the guy to pick it up for me on the way. I get in the car, my pizza's in the car, and I eat it in the car on the way home.
Partial credit to you. You basically came up with it then.
Where are my shares, Uber?
I mean,
where are my shares?
That's genius.
Yeah.
You should have your name on that somewhere.
I know.
C'est la vie.
Oh, well.
Point is, it did land in Melbourne before London.
Dun dun.
Absolute giveaway.
Dun dun.
So you can scrap that. Interestingly, though, they tweak the offering for different cities straight away in kind of how they're marketing this and talking to people about it. In Melbourne, it's introduced with a free for a limited time offer, which I remember.
As do I. So first amnesty story.
First
amnesty story here. So this isn't one of my personal stories, but this is a good friend of mine.
Yep.
Where it was just when the free period ended, and like a few of us were messaging saying how disappointed we were. And this friend, Sam, explained to me how one morning, probably after a few wines the night before, was so thirsty that he Uber Eats 1 can of Sprite with free delivery, and that was it. And he said the face of the guy delivering it was rather disappointed in him.
Yeah, that's sheepish.
Yeah.
Going to the door and getting that. I have a similar friend of Amnesty, and this is, I feel like a bit of a cheat because I didn't do it, but someone I know very well did something almost identical, but it was a can of Coke.
Yeah.
I think it was also just to test it, just to see how this thing works. And then about an hour later, he was like, oh, that worked great.
Yeah.
And he did it for a donut.
Yeah.
I can't confirm, but I think it might have been the same delivery guy. Just be like, come on, man. This is taking the piss.
Yeah.
Yes, it's free and it's easy, but don't do this.
Yeah. When the delivery guy starts to recognize you and it's like you open the door and they give you a look and you're like, oh, sorry, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nowadays you can obviously choose to like leave it at the door or leave it in the letterbox, but I'm pretty sure early on it was like knock on the door, look at you, hand it to you. That's how it began. So you had to have that human interaction. So you had to feel the shame when you got your Sprite at 8 o'clock in the morning in your underpants.
So speaking of Amnesty, and I know we were going to sprinkle these throughout, but here's another one. Our across the road neighbour lives in a townhouse, and he is a young tradie who gets on the piss every weekend. And I respect him for that. He doesn't do it in a loud way. I see him
good on him.
hungover in the mornings. And when he so what he's done is he's got this he's got a bucket with a rope attached to it that goes up to his room.
Oh my!
You see where this is going?
This is legendary.
It's actually legendary, and he is really buff and he's covered in tattoos. But every Saturday and Sunday morning, I see KFC dude rock up, put it in the bucket.
Put the bucket in the bucket.
Take a photo that it's been delivered, and then he kind of comes out staggering onto his balcony and then hoists it up, which is unreal.
Phenomenal.
I wouldn't believe it if you told me, but I've seen it happen that many times.
I love it. That's so good.
It's not bad.
Love it.
Innovation.
That's what we're about here.
Productivity. So that's a fast forward. We're still doing the early days here when it is free for a limited time. As I said, they were tweaking their offerings in the different cities that they were launching in. And in London, the offer was free delivery for a month and £20 off your next order if the food is late, and late depending on where it is. So it's sort of geo-tracked. You can't just be like, oh, it's got to be there in 10 minutes. The important and obvious thing to say is that none of this is sustainable at all. It is a planned cash burn so that people will get excited and sign up and like the product straight away, which works.
Yep.
I mean, ordering a can of Sprite or Coke and a donut, and it didn't cost me anything. How awesome is this?
How good.
First impressions, Rob, last.
They do.
They're important.
They do. We talk about first impressions in romance, but they are equally as important in business.
So important in business. And I suppose if somebody's coming in and out of this episode for 10 seconds only, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
First impressions are everything because you can change everything and still have a good first impression.
Correct.
So that's basically what we're talking about, because they're burning cash to give you that good feeling. And they had the money to burn, because between 2014 and mid-2016, Uber went on a capital raising spree that brought in about $11.25 billion through 8 separate transactions. So it was all planned. Okay, we've got to get this massive war chest, and then we've got to dump it into the market so that everybody likes us. People with MBAs and in MBA classes, they call this blitz scaling, which is a term that was first used by Reid Hoffman, who's the guy behind LinkedIn. And it basically means grow first, worry about profit later, and try to become the default before anyone else can catch up to you. And if you have the money to do it, oh my God, it can just work so incredibly well. Because behavioral scientists describe habits forming in a loop. Basically, there's a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. You get hungry, that's the cue. You want food, that's the craving. You open the app, that's the response. The food turns up, that's the reward. So there's your whole loop. And if you can get people to do that enough times when it's cheap or free and fast, then the app becomes the automatic place that your thumb takes you on your phone when you're hungry. And that's kind of the origin story, really. It's a go-to from the Silicon Valley playbook, but Uber Eats might have just done it best. They used billions of dollars in capital to build the trust and appreciation that they needed from millions of customers. Then they became dominant enough to start doing whatever they want. And that's fees. And that's the next part of the story. Okay, so fast forward to today, and that cheap or free and exciting starting point is just long gone. Here's how the money gets wheelbarrowed in now. And I'll start by talking about the restaurants and some of the fees charged to them. But just know that, of course, these fees change all the time and they're different in different parts of the world. And if you want to get a clear view on what they're charging restaurants, you can actually just go to the website and find out what it is in your country. But basically, to get onto the app, you've got to pay a $500 activation fee. Then for that, you get a welcome kit and a photo shoot for the food. And that's done. And then you start paying the delivery fees on your side. And Rob, here's the breakdown. 30% of the money from every order that an Uber Eats delivery person picks up and delivers. 30%. 16% if the restaurant delivers the food themselves, but it's ordered on the platform. And it's 6% of the revenue from the order if the person orders through the app and goes and picks it up themselves. And right out of the gate, these are massive chunks of money for a small business, which is also paying for labor, rent, utilities, ingredients, everything.
Correct. Yeah, I used to work at a restaurant through uni, and I remember that even though I kind of stopped working there, I knew the owners really well, that occasionally they'd call me up and be like, "Hey, Rob, we're short on staff. You mind just coming and helping us out for a night?" And I would do that for a few years afterwards. And it was around the time when this was starting to take off. And I remember how much the owner of that restaurant was like, "We don't want to be involved with this." And they really fought it for a long, long time. And it was a successful restaurant. It didn't need to. But eventually you just need to, because people stop picking up the phone to call you, go, "Hey, I want a large Hawaiian pizza." Instead, they're on the app and they're like, "Oh, why aren't you on the app now?" And you have to just catch up with everyone else.
So it's a really good point, and it's one that we're going to kind of get to through the lens of a single business in a moment that I spoke to for this episode. But it's important to say, for the most part, the small businesses, the restaurants, they hate this. They really hate it. And they hate it because it costs a lot of money, but also it's 30% of the revenue, and it's for something that happens once the food is gone and out of their control. They can spend so much time and energy making this really delicious, excellent thing, and then they just hand it to someone out of their world entirely, and they have no idea what kind of condition it's in when it lands at their customer. It's something they have no visibility over, and it's so expensive. So that's another point. But we're going to spend a bit of time on the kind of the restaurant side of things. But park that for now, because let's have a look at what the customer is paying. These fees are smaller, but there's an absolute pile of them. You got delivery fee, service fee, small order fee, priority fee if you want it, wrong address fee, busy area fee, surge pricing. Running out of breath.
Fun.
And this stuff changes constantly. I mean, when I was sitting down to write the chapter on this for my book, I got an email from Uber Eats saying that they were trimming the free cancellation period after making an order from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. You just go, why are you doing that? So like little changes and fees, they pop up all the time. I mean, are we to believe that people are rorting that system? Like using that 2 minutes to mess around? No.
Not really.
It's just a way to apply a penalty to more people.
Yeah, this is really out of the Ryanair playbook, this one, I'd say.
It is. And I think that's really important to say, that that's the way that this sort of goes. These arbitrary fees, they exist because you don't have enough competition, basically. And here's the kicker. To try to cover the fees that the restaurant is paying, the restaurant jacks up the menu prices in the app. nobody really wants to talk about that one too much, but go and check. Have a look at a menu posted by a restaurant on their website and then check those prices against the Uber Eats menu ones, and it will be different almost always, which, that messes with the whole economics of you deciding if you want to order through that app or go and get it yourself. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
I'll get to that again in a minute, but park that too, because let's talk about these delivery drivers and riders, the people with the insulated boxes on the backs of their scooters, weaving in and out of traffic. Almost always hired as a contractor, which means no breaks, no penalty rates, no sick leave, no superannuation. Not to mention they're doing work that is objectively dangerous because the amount of time that they're on the road. They have to cover their own fuel, their own insurance, and they don't get paid for the dead time between orders, which quietly drags the real hourly rate way down. Back in 2020, the Transport Workers Union estimated that riders could be earning as little as $10 an hour after costs, Rob.
Oof.
That's a hard way to earn $10.
Yeah.
So that's the picture. That's the three main sort of parties here: the restaurant, the customer, and the rider. The restaurant's getting squeezed, the customer's paying more than they might realize, and the rider is basically underpaid no matter how you look at it. So who is winning here? I said fast forward a minute ago, and that fast forward was where Uber became the unstoppable force it is now, and where the fees came stomping in just during that fast forward period of 10 years. And that's how Uber ended up winning, basically. Last financial year, Uber's delivery segment, which includes Uber Eats, brought in a third of the group's total revenue, as I said before. So it has worked. For consumers, it's now totally ingrained in how the takeaway food economy works. Here's the problem, served with an extremely obvious statement. Food has gotten a lot more expensive. The price of a restaurant meal rose more than 20% between 2019 and 2024, this is according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. And it's still climbing, up another 4% in the last year. And that's if you eat in or pick it up yourself. Delivery is its own inflation story on top of that. And Rob, here's how it looks in sort of microcosm.
Okay.
A fish burrito
Yum.
from my favorite, from my local Mexican restaurant, costs $19 if I place the order and walk down there and get it myself. Order the same burrito on Uber Eats and the menu price alone jumps to $22. Add $2.49 for a delivery fee and $3.05 for a service fee, and all of a sudden it is $27.54. And that is 45% more expensive for the exact same burrito.
That's a lot.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Like, that is huge.
Amnesty time.
Yeah.
So my last order on Uber Eats.
Okay.
So I ordered it last week on a Tuesday. Sorry, not last week. This week. It was Tuesday. I was here. We were really busy and I didn't bring lunch in. So I had to Uber Eat something. Now, Uber Eats from a place which is just a couple of streets over. And I essentially ordered a burrito bowl. Would you like to take a guess on what it cost?
After that, I don't know, 25?
We'll keep going.
30?
$31.48. Now, if I'd gotten in the car and driven there, it would have cost me about $22.
Jeez.
It's good food. Like I would pay $22 for it. But I knew that ordering it and I was like, I'm flat out, I'm busy, I'm hungry, I'm in meetings and recordings all day long. I'm just going to have to spend the extra $9.
Yeah.
And I know that I could go there and I could save that $9.
Do you think that when you were doing that, you were like, it's a $9 difference? Or do you just sort of blast through that?
In this circumstance, I did know it. Like, I'm definitely more conscious to this than I once was. But it's time and money in that scenario for me. If I had the time, I absolutely would have done it. But time is money. And I couldn't just walk out in the middle of what I was doing. And I was like, I'm not going to sit here until 3 p.m. starving. Yeah. I'm going to order it now. I'm going to eat it at my desk and plow through what has to happen.
So I think this is why the amnesty that you suggested is such a good idea, because the reality is, even if you are opposed to these apps, sometimes you just kind of got to do it.
Yep.
Like, let's say your partner is out and you're at home with the kids.
Yep.
You're not leaving to go pick up takeaway.
That literally happened to me like 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
It was a Friday.
Yep.
I was like, cool. I'm going to get home. I'm going to put some rice in the rice cooker. I'm going to go down to the charcoal chicken place, get a charcoal chicken and coleslaw, and that's what we're going to have. But then, she's not coming home.
Yeah.
It's just me and him. I'm not taking him down there at this time of night.
Totally.
I can't be bothered. So I get on the app. I'm hungry. Oh, now I've ordered chips and dimmies as well. And suddenly
Now
I'm like,
it's a $700 bill.
oh no! I'm like, I was just going to get a chalk, and suddenly I've spent all this money.
Oh, exactly. So there's that. And then look, it also provides a positive service for people who maybe have a physical difficulty leaving the house.
Correct.
Like there's lots of good uses for it. And you find in these sorts of chats that you can end up painting with too broad of a brush. And it is important to say that for some people, it's a godsend.
Yeah.
But I think the point is, I don't think anybody sits there and realizes actively, hey, this is crazy expensive.
Yeah.
For something that was introduced as either free or extremely cheap, like that difference, that $9, $10 difference, not really going to the driver. No. It's not really going to the restaurant. It's going to this app.
Yeah, conglomerate.
And it changed gently and slowly over time.
Yeah.
And this is a problem, particularly for the restaurants, but also, of course, for the consumers. The platform has the size and the power to say, well, you're either in or you're out, and we really don't care. There's not a whole lot of pressure on it from competitors anymore. It means that the small businesses have to keep increasing their prices without actually seeing any more cash. And that means taking on risk if you think about it. Because for me, is $27.54 an acceptable price for a burrito?
No.
No.
It is not.
I mean, it's not.
Unless it's like a foot-long burrito.
Yeah.
Which is still probably no.
And the problem is people sort of forget that it's actually $19. It's not $27.54. And so naturally, if I think that's the cost of a burrito, I'll order it less for sure. Maybe never. Yeah. Maybe I'll be like, that place is too expensive. I've spoken to a few businesses about this a few times. And I wrote about Super Nash Brothers in Sydney, which is, Rob, it's a Nashville fried chicken chain.
Delicious.
They say, and I have no reason to think that they're lying, is better than Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh, are they Melbourne?
No, Sydney.
Oh.
Well, they may come here one day.
I don't know.
If you stamp your feet and say, we must have this in Melbourne, I'm sure they will listen.
Yeah, I mean, not to peek behind the curtain, but it's almost 11 o'clock. It'll be lunch in a couple of hours. I'm like, hey, I could go some Nashville fried chicken.
I could too. Yeah. And I think that they are a great business. Anyway, I spoke to them and I checked in with them recently about their experience with UberEats. And the update was really interesting. And I'm going to tell you what they said right after this message from our partners. The old finance playbook, a steady job, property, super, and patience, got a lot right. It's just not the whole picture anymore. The team behind IG Markets has 50 years in the industry. They've watched that system change and they've built something to sit alongside it. IG Markets is that next piece. Shares, ETFs, and crypto all in one app. Simple, accessible, and designed for people who want to take a more active hand in what they're building. This is new money. IG Markets believes every Australian deserves more ways to invest, and they're here to help you find the way that suits you. Search IG Markets or download the app. IG Markets, this is new money. Crypto is unregulated and high risk. Share trading services by IG Australia Pty Ltd, AFSL 515106. Crypto services by IG Digital Assets Australia Pty Ltd. What if your home loan isn't as competitive as it used to be? Loyalty is a lovely thing, but let's face it, your bank has never sent you flowers for it. Mortgage Choice can help you find a better deal. With more choice from over 35 lenders, they'll compare your options and crunch the numbers for you. And with more than 1,000 brokers Australia-wide, expert help is never far away. Plus, because they're part of realestate.com.au, they know the property market. So when it's time to get more from your home loan, refinance with Mortgage Choice. Talk to your local Mortgage Choice broker today. Welcome back to How We Got Here. So, Super Nash Brothers, as I said, they do Nashville fried chicken, delicious. They got 5 locations in Sydney and 35 employees. Now, they told me that what UberEats means to them is about $60,000+ a month. That's their outgoings just to UberEats.
Wow.
One small business. Their most popular combo sells for $27, Rob, in store.
Mm-hmm.
On Uber Eats, the same combo has to be $36 before Uber's fees.
Right.
The owners say, look, they don't have a massive problem with the 30% fee or the activation fee. They are getting growth through the platform because they're able to reach more people and there is logic in being a part of it. The issue is with the new costs arriving all the time, popping up out of the blue for the businesses. They're currently running 9 separate advertising campaigns inside the app at once at a total combined cost of $420 a day.
Wow. Just to be seen on the app.
Yeah, because it's all rankings and visibility.
It's a good point, that, because a lot of apps on my phone, I have the notifications off, but that one I keep it on because I want to make sure I know when things are coming.
Yep.
And it's very clever. I always seem to get a notification from Uber Eats around 5 o'clock because it's like, you're going to get hungry now.
Sure.
Order it. And then I'm like, I got a message. What is it? And then it's just like the local pizza place near my house being like, come here and get a pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
And you think about it for a second.
Sure.
You're like,
And if you wanted a pizza, let's say Domino's, they've got the budget to make sure that they appear higher in the search results for pizza than the small one 4 doors down from Domino's.
Yeah.
So it's about paying to be seen. And the fees are not fixed. This is important. They depend on an opaque operational performance ranking, which we don't get to know about and the businesses don't get to know about, but it determines how much they have to pay.
Yeah.
Now, I asked them straight. I asked these restaurant owners straight, is this a monopoly? And they said 100%. He said, yeah, we pay for DoorDash too, but that accounts for about 3% of sales. The owners have been careful about how publicly they complain because speaking out has consequences when you depend on a platform this much. But he told me something that's stuck with me since, which is, quote, we just can't fight this anymore. To your point about the business that you worked for, you don't want to be a part of it, but, bloody hell, one foot in front of the other, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Like you have to be all in a way.
Eventually you get customers coming through the door being like, oh, how come you guys aren't on Uber? I tried to order you the other night, but you're not there. And I went somewhere else. And then you're like, well, I'm kind of losing business now.
Totally. This is about the scale and the market dominance. Important to say here that Super Nash Brothers and a bunch of other businesses do have a campaign asking customers to order directly with them and pay less. Yep. Just pay less. It's a good campaign. We're going to talk about it again in a minute. Here's the thing. This all works, as we've hinted at, because Uber Eats is basically a monopoly. There has been a lot of consolidation and collapses around it. In fact, do you remember Deliveroo, Rob?
I do. My housemate worked there for all of 1 week.
There you go. Was it a good week?
No, he regretted his decision, but he kept all the gear. So somewhere he has a Deliveroo jacket in the box.
Oh, maybe he came out on top in the end.
Exactly. It was just a scheme to get the outfit.
Yeah. I mean, it lasted 7 years in Australia, 2015 to 2022, but bombed out because it wasn't making enough money. It was an international company, despite the Roo part sort of feeling Australian.
Yeah.
It's actually a UK business.
Do you remember Menulog?
Sure.
Now, Menulog predates Uber Eats. It goes back to about 2005, 2006, which is crazy. And I can actually remember being home one night. I don't know where my sister and my parents were. And they're like, oh, here's some money for food. But it was cold. I didn't want to go out. And I remember going onto this Menulog website on a desktop computer and ordering delivery through that website. And I was able to pay cash to the guy who came to the door.
On a desktop, Rob.
On a desktop. And that went around for a while. I think it got bought out by an American company. Australians might remember the big campaign they had with Katy Perry and Snoop Dogg, and that's gone now.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. They would have had billions of dollars at their disposal. They probably didn't have $11.25 billion to burn to get to the tipping point they needed to get to. So this is the thing. And when Deliveroo bombed out of Australia in 2022, I mean, this is when Uber Eats lost another key competitor and started pumping in fees.
Yeah.
Because you could. And here's another one. Do you remember Milk Run?
Yeah, I remember seeing the ads. Never used it though.
So for our best friend who's listening overseas, they will not probably know about Milk Run. If you're in Australia, you will at least probably have seen the billboards or been familiar with it. It promised groceries delivered to your door in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Which is an unreal promise. I loved it, actually, because this is COVID. We had a new baby. We were getting like bits and bobs, nappies, bit of chicken maybe, and it was really, really fast. And of course, as they all are in the early days, it was really cheap. And now we know why.
Yeah.
Because of the reporting on it. It was losing up to $40 on every single order.
God.
And it was spending $57 to acquire each new customer. So it nailed the losing cash part of the operation. That part of the plan went smoothly.
That's the easy part, isn't it? Lose cash.
It is. Ran out of money in 2023. Woolworths ended up buying it for not much. Maybe it was never disclosed. Maybe about $10 million, mostly for the name recognition. Woolworths is Australia's largest supermarket organisation. These businesses kept making the same promise: fast, cheap, convenient. And the last man standing gets to claw back all the money they lost in the beginning. The point is that it's a risky game. You have to be the last person standing. And a big part of whether it can work does come down to workers and how much you can get away with paying them. Interesting, because drones are being rolled out in some parts of the world to do the food delivery. Have you seen this?
I have seen it.
I think it's big in LA.
Yeah.
And other parts
There's
of
videos
America.
of people just like kicking them over and stuff.
Can you imagine if they put that in here? We would do, like, when I say we, the good people of Melbourne would throw them into the Yarra immediately.
Yeah, as is tradition.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Like we got Lime bikes and the scooters, and within like a day
Into the Yarra
they went.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're like this. I can't tell if I think it's endearing or like annoying. Somewhere in between, possibly.
Yeah.
It's just something that happens.
It's our culture. It's what we do.
Who says we don't have a culture?
Exactly. You throw things in a river.
Throw things into the river.
We drink out of a shoe.
Yes, that too. So they are using drones in some parts of the world. They're probably being strategic about where they do that. And in a lot of places where we are included, they're still using people, which brings us to where this whole story sits right now, because there's a big breakthrough happening in Australia, which is that the gig economy delivery drivers have just won a legally enforced minimum wage, Rob, of $31.30 an hour.
Wow.
Australian dollars this is, which is well above the $26.44 national minimum wage.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Anyone listening overseas will also say $26.44 is a solid minimum wage. We don't have the tipping culture and we'd kind of do it properly, in my opinion here.
Yes.
But what's happened is the Fair Work Commission approved the deal late on August 11, 2026. So this is recent to when we're recording this. After more than 4 years of negotiation between the Transport Workers Union, Uber Eats and DoorDash. Now, the deal only applies while a driver is actively on a job, not downtime in between orders. But the platforms will also have to provide personal accident insurance. This is massive.
That is big.
This is a huge moment in food delivery world, and it's happening right now. And Uber Eats seems to have come to the party here because they're no longer in this cash burn part of the journey, but rather in the pumping up fees part of the journey. This decision, which increases the wages of food delivery people, is important for those people, but it is going to make the food delivery more expensive. If you're someone who orders food on these apps regularly, just watch. It is going to rise in price from an already high starting point. Now, there is a point to all this, and that is to order your food directly with the restaurant whenever you can. Do not fall into the trap of paying more than you have to. It's cheaper for customers, and it's better for restaurants. And if you go down there and pick it up, they'll be so chuffed to be dealing with you outside the app, Rob. They'll probably give you a high five and a dim sim for free. You know what I mean?
Do they have dim sims in other countries?
No.
Yeah.
It might be an Australian cuisine.
Yep.
How do you describe a dim sim?
Well, it's a
Side
Melbourne
note.
invention. Invented in Footscray
Here we go.
by a Chinese-Australian man.
I thought it was South Melbourne.
No,
Okay.
Footscray, I'm pretty sure, I think.
What is it?
It is a blend of some sort of minced meat and some kind of herbs wrapped in God knows what that can either be steamed or deep fried.
Yep.
And depending on where you come from, people may refer to it as a moe oyster or a rat coffin. It's good. It's good with soy sauce. You have them at your local footy events. I'm actually on a bit of a campaign to head around to local footy with my son at the moment and just sample the local dim sims, and it's good. It's good fun. It's what I do on the weekends.
I'm sorry. I'm still a bit stuck on rat coffin.
Rat coffin, yeah.
Oh. So the fact that it's called dim sim is just to make it sound vaguely oriental, I suspect.
Yeah, well, it was a Chinese Australian guy who invented it. His name is William Chen Wing Young.
So yeah, we went into an explainer on dim sims. Wasn't expecting it. Happy we did it though.
Yeah.
And look, we might have got our facts wrong. Hey, if you know about dim sims, hit us up in the comments.
Yeah.
Correct us.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
I'm fascinated by that now. I might have to do some Wikipediaing.
Yes.
It's time though. Well, it's almost time to do two truths and a lie.
Should we do a final amnesty?
Oh yeah.
So this is my final story.
Okay.
This is my shame. So it was, I believe it was after a grand final weekend, which for your foreign listeners, you know, is kind of the Super Bowl here for us
Yeah,
here
it's a
in
big
Melbourne.
piss up. Huge
Big piss up. And for some reason, we decided that we have a public holiday the day beforehand. So basically, it's, you know, two days of drinking.
Yes.
So it was the day after the grand final day. Obviously, you know, was feeling a bit shameful with myself. And I decided to Uber Eats from the local Domino's near my house. Now, at the time, I was living in North Melbourne. And I just had to quickly double check it. But the Domino's was 160 meters away from my house.
It's not much.
And the look of the guy at the door when I opened it, disheveled, just like I've never seen someone like look down upon me more so in my life. And I'm just like, thank you.
I need more. What was the order? Is this like some dirty stuffed crust meat lovers?
Yeah, you probably would have been like a Supreme or something, and I might have got like a garlic bread and a can of Coke with it as well. And the guy's looking at me just being like, mate.
Yeah, you got to
like,
sort yourself out.
He's like the look he gave me was like, I walked here.
Yeah.
I walked here to deliver this to you. You know?
Yeah, that's right. And I got paid all of, $6.
Yeah. But
Not
look,
even.
I've come a long way since then.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of us both.
Yeah.
Look at us practicing what we preach here and there. Hit us up with your most shameful Uber Eats order in the comments. I'd be fascinated to read them.
Yeah. It's an amnesty. No judgment here.
We do two truths and a lie?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Number 1, Australia got Uber Eats before England. True.
Yep.
We can hold that over them.
Yep.
After we win the Ashes again. Number 2, Australia's new minimum wage for gig delivery workers is a lot. It's gone up a lot. That's true.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I couldn't believe that.
It's unbelievable. It's huge. 4 years in the making. World first. Number 3, a restaurant pays 30% of the order to Uber Eats and that's it. That's the lie.
Wow.
Obviously, because it's a lot more than 30% of the order. So they've got to cough up 30% of the order, but then they're paying so much in these ancillary fees now.
It's crazy.
Which we don't really think about very much, but
No.
I tell you what, the small businesses think about it.
They sure do.
Unbelievable. 30% is just the starting point. Now, what's the point? Where do we sort of land on? Where do we wrap this whole schmozzle up, Rob? Food delivery. It's just fees on fees.
Yeah.
It arrived at that place sort of slowly. It's something that's gone from exciting and cheap and good to something that's expensive and not good in 10 years flat.
Yeah. It's come a long way since your stereotypical pizza delivery guy driving around in his car. You know, it's so far from that. And I think it's just, if you have the time, if you have the capability, get down there, walk down there, get in the car, whatever it needs to be, save the money. It's better for the restaurant. You'll feel better for doing it.
We talk about supporting small businesses, this is a great example of, if you can, just bypass the big business entirely. You don't need them. They don't need them.
Yeah, it's great.
It's, I think, a really interesting case study in something that you see all the time. It's the playbook of deliver something really, really good that is hemorrhaging you money and then claw that money back by making it bad over time. And as we said at the beginning, first impressions last in business and in everything. What an absolute shocker.
What do you think the first impression was of that UberEats guy when he saw me the day after grand final day?
You think he's telling people about it now?
Yeah. This lazy bloke. What a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, for a lot of people.
And you know what? I lived on the second story of a terrace. I could have had the bucket. I could have had the bucket and the string.
It's not too late.
I was a rookie.
You know, one of the things I think about is that for people who come to Australia, often it's the first job or it's a first job. And what must be the first impression when they rock up and are delivering something from 160 metres away? I mean, what is going on in this country?
Yeah, laziness. Absolute laziness.
But that's Uber Eats and that's food delivery. As I said at the beginning, I don't like it. But maybe I'm just becoming curmudgeonly in my old age. Rob, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much for having this ranty chat with me.
It's been fun, and I will be walking down the street to get my lunch later.
Same. Good-o. I'm Chris Kohler. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. You just paid a $9 delivery fee on a $22 burger and didn't blink. That's the world we live in now. We'll happily spend on convenience without a second thought. Funny how that works. Spending's easy. Investing is the bit we put off. But it doesn't need to be complicated or expensive. It just needs a starting point. And that can be smaller than your last Uber Eats order. IG Markets gives you access to shares, ETFs, and crypto all in one app, backed by 50 years of industry experience, built for what comes next. No 20% deposit, no waiting 30 years. Search IG Markets or download the app from your app store to get started today. IG Markets. This is new money. Crypto is unregulated and high risk. Share trading services by IG Australia Pty Ltd AFSL 515106. Crypto services by IG Digital Assets Australia Pty Ltd. Looking to buy your first home? With the latest federal budget putting first home buyers firmly in focus, now's the perfect time to explore your options with your local Mortgage Choice broker. For over 30 years, Mortgage Choice brokers have been helping Aussies find the right home loan. They give you more choice, comparing options from over 35 lenders, and they'll do more of the heavy lifting, comparing lenders, crunching the numbers, and finding the right fit for your situation. Get more expertise on your side. Choose more with Mortgage Choice. Talk to your local Mortgage Choice broker today.